beautiful evenings in Chattanooga never get old, and we have another one here for this USL League One matchup presented by Transcar. The Chattanooga Red Wolves in their second game of the season hosting the Central Valley Fuego. In their first match of the USL League One season, they've been waiting a long time, and they can finally get their 2023 campaign started. Welcome one and all to this broadcast on ESPN+. My name is Mark Schoenster. Welcome back to the grind here, Central Valley Fuego fans, and for Chattanooga. Time for round two as we look at the standings. Of course, there's a 0 in the games played category for Central Valley Fuego. Chattanooga had a 0-0 draw last weekend. So although they played a game, both of these teams are still looking for their first goal scored and trying to put off their first goal scored against them. Now, one player returning to the starting lineup and our News 12 player to watch is Aaron Lombardi. He was electric last year. I mean, look at what he just did there on that clip from last season. This guy has the ability to create chances. He played about 17 minutes in the season opener. He's in the starting lineup here, and they'll look to get him going. They needed more creativity in that first game. Lombardi can provide that, and he can provide some goals himself. A wonderful volley. As we look at the Central Valley Fuego side of things, there's a lot of new pieces for Chattanooga, but for the Fuego, it's a lot of the old guard from last season. Victor Falk going to be leading the way in the middle of the field and could also be leading in the scoring category by the time the season's over. You know, he's got a rocket of a boot from the free kick spot. And then William Bijev, of course, the known commodity, the veteran, so inventful, so dangerous. And Chattanooga will be on the lookout to try and stop him here tonight in the Fuego's season opener. Well, it may be April, but these two teams aren't fooling around. It's the Red Wolves and Central Valley Fuego. The lineups and kickoff are coming up next after this break on ESPN+.
It's here, Ford Truck Month. Come and get the best deals on Ford F-150. The only truck to offer available Pro Power onboard and an interior work surface so you can get it all done. All part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 46 years straight and counting. Get 2.9 for 60 plus up to $2,500 with eligible trade-in. Learn more about pickup and delivery and remote service at your local Ford dealer.
The future is in these foothills. The world's fastest internet from EPB is in homes from Hickson to Highland Park. In classrooms from East Lake to East Brainerd. And in reach of those striving to learn more, be more, achieve more. The future is here with fiber optic speeds up to 25 gigs.
There's a beat in all of us. It drives us, it inspires us, and it pushes us through. It is there in preparation, it is there in battle, it is there in defeat and success. It's the engine, it's our guide. And this beat is my own. This beat is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water, hydration for athletes.
It's Chattanooga and Central Valley presented by CHI Memorial. Shirts worn by the Walkout Kids tonight are brought to you by Brainerd Baptist School, expanding minds, preparing hearts. As we prepare to get this one underway, let's take a look at the starting lineups brought to you by Center for Sports Medicine and Orthopedics, the official sports medical group of the Chattanooga Red Wolves, because life happens in motion. Here is what Ziggy Kortoski's side is coming out with today, a 4-5-1. They'll be looking to feed Mael Malongo. He already showed just the kind of potential and the athletic ability he has in that first 90 minutes, and the confidence that coach has in Malongo was threefold when I got to talk to him earlier this week. Meanwhile, the first 11 for Central Valley Fuego this season, of course, Martin Vasquez leading the way. A lot of familiar faces on here. That midfield with Falk, Ramos, and Cerritos, all back from last season, including the top three as well. But when you have that core in the middle of the field that's established, familiar with each other, you'll end up cooking up some good things throughout the season, and you can get things going quicker at the beginning of the year because you already have some of that chemistry from previous USL League One games under your belt. we await for the whistle from our head official today, Alejo Kaluma. And we are underway here between the Red Wolves and Central Valley Fuego at CHI Memorial Stadium. A windy day at CHI Memorial Stadium, but wonderful weather in Chattanooga, Tennessee. 77 degrees as it stands right now. Surely as that sun dips into the horizon, it'll get a little bit cooler. But needless to say, some pretty good weather for the beautiful game. There's Lombardi, who will throw this one in, and they were lacking some of that creativity going forward in the last game, creating chances, being dangerous. Lombardi, that is something that is certainly within his wheelhouse. William Bijev, familiar face in the USL landscape, returning back after a stellar season last year. Had 5 goals, and he's had a long and successful career in professional soccer, especially here in the States. Here comes Victor Falk, plays it over to that right-hand side, tracking it down as Casillas. And he's able to keep it in play using his head. Casillas loses it, and then it's deflected out for our Central Valley throw. Quickly throw it in, and David Diaz trying to win it back, but instead it's the Red Wolves. And we're going to get a whistle for a foul here. Great attendance at that first game at CHI Memorial Stadium last weekend against the Hailstorm. Looks like we got a good crowd here again today. Talking to Coach Kortowski after his first ever game, not only just as the coach of the Red Wolves, but also the first home game at CHI Memorial Stadium. This one gets sprayed into the air. Not completely out of danger. Bijev comes down with it. As we're in the corner. He slips that one in. That's not fully dealt with yet. Partita has it now. He passes inside for Bijev. Bijev cutting across, tried to slice it inside, and now it's cleared away. Positive looks for Central Valley here early, but also not the most effective clearances from Chattanooga. Partita works his way inside. Bijev once again. Sends it to the right-hand side for Casillas. Have to retreat as he's ushered away by Lombardi. Putting their foot on the gas here, Central Valley. Trying to keep Chattanooga stumbling and just trying to hang on here. Talking about that game last weekend for the Red Wolves, I wanted to get Ziggy Kortowski's impressions of the venue and of the fans and the atmosphere, and he said, well, we have a really educated and passionate group of fans here. He mentioned that his side didn't give him much to cheer for in the first half, as Bijev must be breathing heavy here. Notice the long sleeves on a couple of these players, including William Bijev. Although it's in the 70s with that wind, could be a little biting there in the cold. But as I was saying, Coach Kortowski said that Chattanooga, our side, didn't give much to cheer for in the first half, but in the second half, the fans really got into it. You could sense the energy. They got behind us. And he also mentioned it was a beautiful night. Just a wonderful game outside of the fact that no goals were scored. He mentioned that it's a two-way street. Of course, you expect the fans to come and bring support and energy for the team, but also the team has to give them something to get excited about. Here's Partita. Cerritos plays it back to Ramos. And that one with a slide will get knocked away, but Casillas picks it up. Casillas doing some work with the dribbling and gets knocked away. But right now, the pressure still all in favor of Central Valley. Partida slides that one inside, gets knocked over, and there's going to be a yellow card. First booking of the season for Nicholas Cardona. Right back going into the books here. Yeah, he's just late. Chunking into Partida there, and now a free kick for the visiting side. It'll be Bijev along with, appears to be Partida, and it is. I can tell the Central Valley side are eager to get back into action. They've looked all of that here in the first 6 minutes. Service from Partida headed towards goal and straight into the hands of Ricardo Jerez. Not Carlos Aviles in between the pipes here today. Instead, it's the veteran keeper from Guatemala. This replay brought to you by Rodriguez Dentistry. And just for a moment, the Red Wolves look to be pushing forward, but it's been won back by Central Valley once again. Bijev playing it forward. Diaz taps it to Falk. Now Cerritos. They are finding avenues to pass this ball through. Diaz loses it, and it's knocked away. Casillas veers, pushes it forward. Casillas driving inside. He gets taken down. No penalty called. And now this one will be played up the pitch by Felipe Laborio Jr. And it's going to go out for a Chattanooga throw. There's Martin Vasquez. He said that we're excited to be back. I told my guys to enjoy this first game. Obviously, they wanted to play that home opener last month, but some crazy weather hit, causing the postponement. They were going to play North Carolina FC. Cardona plays it inside, headed away. First foray into the attacking third for Chattanooga. Cardona wins it back. Now Will Leffy, the longtime Red Wolf, plays it over to the left-hand side for Lombardi. Now Malongo. In the corner with Dabo. Couple of sliding efforts, and that shot trying to skip forward, but immediately hits a defender. Now Bijev with a lot of space will take it. Try to pass it inside, but it suffered a deflection. It'll go out for a corner kick. That one looked to skip off of Laborio Jr. So this is going to be a corner kick brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Bijev will place that one down and look to service in something for one of his teammates. Many of them loading up at the top of the 18. That one real high, headed back into the fray, nodded away by Lombardi. Chavez misses that one. And he gets that one to rip off for another corner kick. So now from the right-hand side, a corner kick brought to you by local Ford dealer Ozzy Ramos will take it from this portion of the pitch. Ramos plays it inside, headed, and it's off the mark. Select the official match ball supplier of the USL League One and many elite leagues throughout Europe. Visit www.selectsportamerica.com for the latest Select products, specials, and more. Select, the player's choice. Missed chance there for Central Valley as they continue to knock on the door. First 10 minutes been very positive for their side. There was some wild weather over in Fresno that caused their first game of the season and their home opener to get postponed. Martin Vasquez mentioned that he appreciated the support from the league to help fix that situation. Ramos lays it back to Dabo. He'll keep working it forward before chipping it over to Bijev. He's trying to cut that one back inside. Cardona with Kraft. And they're gonna say it's a foul there on Jesus Partida. Fouling Riley Kraft. One of the few returners for Chattanooga this season alongside Lombardi. He's only one of 4 in the starting lineup who played for the Red Wolves last season, accompanied by Cardona, Lombardi, and Walefi, the longtime Red Wolf. Now they have the ball. One thing that Ziggy Korotowski said about their game last week is that they needed to create more dangerous moments. We had some of what I would call meaningless possession last week. That's how he put it. And so that has been a focus in training as Lombardi is going to be called for the foul there as he bumbled into Casillas. Was able to shake by one defender, but second was too tall a task. Was able to fight off Lemus, but then doing well to get between him and the ball was Diego Casillas. I'll get things going again quickly here. This one will go back to Ricardo Jerez, 37 years old. Making his debut as a Chattanooga Red Wolf. Focus in practice this week was to be purposeful with the ball. Chattanooga. We've seen it so far. When they've had it, they've pushed forward. And here they come. Varela inside of the 18. Kraft leaves it. Here's the shot, and it's off the mark. Christian Enriquez with a glorious opportunity. Just couldn't test the keeper. First huge moment of the day for Chattanooga, and probably the best chance either team has had. And then coming out is Jerez. Collecting it before Victor Falk could get there. That's being purposeful with the ball. And just like that, you can hear the Chattanooga Red Wolves fans chanting. You just got to give them something to cheer for. Give them a little bit of fire. They'll take it away from there. That's a great ball from Walter Varela, and then Riley Kraft with the wherewithal to leave it for Enriquez. Now let's take a look at that again. So, great ball leading forward. Varela tracks it down. And then Kraft leaves it for Enriquez and just sprays it wide. So we're worth noting as this one rolls out. Although the starting lineup had Ofik Antman in goal, Mitch North is actually out there. Must have been a late scratch for the main goalkeeper last year for Central Valley. Mitch North, though, had 2 clean sheets last season with Central Valley, so getting both their goalkeepers to return for this second year in USL League One. This one will get taken in by Central Valley. And scouting out Central Valley, Ziggy Kortowski said that they're a team that wants to keep the ball on the deck, a very intense side, and we've already seen that a little bit here in these first 16 minutes. I mentioned they'll close space quickly as North has to get that one out of there. Luckily for Kortowski, he's worked with some of the guys and been around some of the other players on this Central Valley team, including Ozzy Ramos and Harold Hansen, who both played for Ziggy Kortowski at one point in time. Cardona rolls this one up to Kraft. Chattanooga fans, Coca-Cola is the exclusive soft drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Malongo in the corner. Met by Dabo, taps it back. Lombardi to Varela. Alefi to Laborio. Cardona to Laborio again. Ushered into the corner here by that Fuego defense. And it'll be quickly thrown in for Kraft. Alefi. The pass going out wide to Lombardi. Lombardi rolls it into the middle, and it's cleared away by Ramos. Stepping to that pass. And it'll bounce out of play. Last year, Central Valley went 11-7-12. Really good early in the season. Had an Open Cup upset as well. And it was thrashing at that against El Paso Locomotive. Just 2 points shy of a playoff spot. Looking to take a step up this season and sit over top that line when the regular season concludes. As last season's playoffs established, even if you're at the bottom of that table as far as the playoffs are concerned, if you are one of the last teams in, you still have as good of a chance of winning it all in the playoffs as anybody else. Long ball down the pitch, brought down by Enriquez. Enriquez squares it to the top. And it's knocked away and cleared out. Diaz tries to track that one down, but won't get there in time. Chattanooga fans, check out the new 2023 Chattanooga Red Wolves kits, along with t-shirts, scarves, novelty items, and much more at ChattanoogaRedWolves.com. When it comes to this Chattanooga team, I talked to Martin Vasquez about what he saw on the side. Of course, not a ton of tape to work with there as far as tactically what they're doing and what each player brings, but of course every one of these guys has some history to them that you can learn about and extract from. It's a lot easier, though, when you've got a couple of games where they're all together to really understand what they're about this season. Cardona brings it down, but as I was saying, Martin Vasquez said that they're a better team they may have seen in that first game. And he mentioned they already looked better in comparison from the first half to the second half, which is something that Ziggy Kortowski also said, is that they looked much better in the second half of that game. And he mentioned, and Martin Vasquez said that the chemistry of this Chattanooga team is growing. They have a good coach and dangerous players. One of them is Christian Enriquez. He taps it back out to Cardona. And his corner kick has been won. So it looks like it'll be Kraft who will go over to set this one up for Chattanooga. This corner kick brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Kraft sends this one inside, headed back into the fray, and then emphatically cleared out by Lamousse. And will roll out of harm's way. Don't miss a minute of the action in 2023, whether your club is on the road or at home. Catch nearly every second of USL League One action on ESPN+, the home to the USL, MLS, La Liga, the Bundesliga, UFC, and more. Sign up today at plus.espn.com. Looks like we have one player who is a little bit slow to get up here. We'll take a look at Ziggy Kortowski, and it's going to be a member of Central Valley. It looks to be Diego Casillas. There's a look at the fans here. Mentioned already, Ziggy Kortowski called them a passionate, educated group of fans. And that's a lucky combination to have, because sometimes you get one and you don't get the other. But these people know their soccer. And they're also invested. Casillas and Falk discussing some things right now as they both have this chance to recover and replenish before action resumes. If I remember correctly, it's a throw-in, and there's Lombardi right by his coach. Rosario, Argentina, Aaron Lombardi. 27 years old. Came off the bench in the first game, but starting today. Cardona will roll this one back to Ricardo Jerez. That one well overshot. I'll go out of play. So as this game's gone on, Chattanooga have certainly grown into the game. Ramos under some duress. Nearly gives that one to Kraft inside of his own 18. And it will be a Chattanooga throw. Chattanooga fans body armor, the official sports drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Molefi will nod this one out. excited to get going, and we're excited to play them. That's what Martin Vasquez said about Chattanooga. And I asked him about Harold Hansen, a guy who played for Ziggy Korotowski just last season at Albion San Diego. And Martin Vasquez said, yeah, I mean, we're familiar with their coach. Soccer's a small world, and several of our guys have played for him or played around him as the service comes in and into the hands of Jerez. Very often the case that someone has a connection with other players, coaches, or members of the other team. Especially as this USL infrastructure just continues to grow. These teams continue to develop talent, develop coaching minds. The idea is that it'll feed itself and only get stronger. There's Mitch North. He's from up north in Portland, Oregon. Take a brief break here in the game of action. So I believe this is in respect to those practicing Ramadan and back into play. Just giving that moment for those players to properly practice their religion. Here's Cardona. Over to Kraft. Laborio inside for Walefi. Now Cardona trying to slide it inside to Enriquez, and it'll get knocked away for another Chattanooga throw. Now to talk to Ziggy Korotowski about his starting 11, which he made some changes to today. And I asked him, you know, you've got a couple of games in from the preseason. You're one game down. You've had a couple weeks of preseason. How close are you to really knowing your starting 11, the guys that you like to roll out there, the guys you like to sub in at certain points in the game? And he said that we're still learning that. We've only had 4 total games. I mentioned when we played the Hailstorm, they had, I think, around 9 preseason games and a returning core of players. And he also mentioned, look at our opponents in Central Valley. They're mainly just rehashing things. A lot of their roster returning. Only 4 games played up to this point. He said once we get to 8, 9, 10, we'll have a better idea of everything, of what we really have. Diaz plays it for Ramos, but not quite on the mark. And now breaking away the other way is Malongo. Malongo runs it forward. Malongo still with it. He slides it by the keeper. It's off the post. Oh, so close for Mael Malongo. Just hitting that woodwork. Inches from the first goal of the season for Chattanooga. And that's a situation, if you're Central Valley, you do not want to be in. You do not want Malongo attacking you on the break. Enriquez Takes the shot. It doesn't have enough dip on it. And after that opening stretch from Central Valley, the Red Wolves have taken over control of this game, and we now have two different soccer balls getting thrown onto the pitch here. Listen, we love the select ball, but not enough to break the rules of the game and have two of them on the pitch at once. Ramos will play this one back. Malongo taking over to that right side into the 18. Malongo squares it across. Enriquez with a nice touch pops it over Casillas, maintaining possession for Chattanooga. Laborio now a lefty. Varela plays it out to Lombardi. He sends it inside, knocked away. Follow-up shot is sent up into the rafters, if we had rafters. Just a haywire shot from Walter Varela. And Fuego will go forward. Had the chance to discuss last season with Martin Vasquez how that first year went for Central Valley, and he said, I could say we were unlucky, but we had it in our hands and we didn't get it done. He said every team in this league is competitive and you must have consistency. I think that was the two main negative things he had to take away from last year, that consistency and just having the opportunity and not taking it. As Falk brings it forward, threads it to Casillas, but the offside flag is going to go up. He mentioned, but with all these negatives, you have to be realistic too. It was year one, and we had a lot of positives to consider from last year. And many of those positives are in the form of players and how well they developed, and a lot of those players are coming back and playing for Central Valley here in the second season. The three players involved in that play there, Victor Falk, Diego Casillas, and then William Bijev, although the play was already blown dead. He was on the receiving end of what would have been a dangerous pass. All played with the team last season. And then I also think an added positive this year for the Central Valley team is Martin Vasquez got added on after the season already started. So this year he actually got to plan the preseason and be with these guys before the action goes, and it's turned over in a dangerous spot. David Diaz had the ball fall to his feet, but Ricardo Jerez was able to rescue a disastrous situation. Bijev just gets a foot in there. Pokes it away from Travis Nicklaw. Nearly gift wrapping. Very easy goal for Central Valley, but Jerez is able to step forward in a moment's notice. Keep the young striker from taking advantage of the situation. So this game is still at 0-0 after that dangerous moment, after a couple of good looks for Chattanooga. They're gonna call a foul here on Walter Varela. This one nearly given away, and it is. Riley Kraft just sliding to keep possession, but Ramos is able to come back and deflect it towards his goalie, that is. A precarious moment for both sides, in moments where you got to be practicing utmost safety. Cerritos winding it forward. Diaz plays it out wide to Bijev. Bijev crosses it inside, headed away by Cardona. Bijev wins it back. This time he can't get it by, well, left feet. And now Chattanooga will push forward once again. Ref will play on. Player got taken down. That's Liborio. Nice turn from Malongo. And then that one rolls out of play and out for a goal kick. Malongo had that opportunity earlier. Nearly made this one 1-0 for his team. Chattanooga fans, Ford is the official domestic car partner of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. That one came off the hand of Casillas. Leffy will drive this one forward. Still with it as he drifts out wide to the left. That one nicely cleared by Daba. Not only did he clear it out, but he got it well up the pitch before it drifted out of bounds. Maybe not as much as previously thought. Players itching to not only cheer on their team, their teammates, but to get into the game. That pass was just too far ahead of Enriquez. Very compelling first half of action thus far. Kraft holding it in the corner. Now Cardona. On it now is Mikhail Williams, or the armband last game for Chattanooga. Ziggy Kortowski called him an exceptional player. Said he's come in and has been a great personality, and now that ball will float from Williams into the hands of North. He said Williams leads not only by example, but he's also a voice in the dressing room. He said, we've got a couple of guys who will wear the armband this season. We have a leadership group. It's so important to have a mesh of vets and young talent as David Diaz trying to get it around Nick Law, but well escorted by the center back, making sure that the young striker couldn't get around him. David Diaz, just 19 years old. Going to win a championship, you need both veterans and young talent. That's what Kortowski was telling me. Enriquez with a good touch. Tries to parry it out wide for Malongo. Lombardi. Inventive way to get the ball forward to Enriquez. Here's Liborio. Lombardi now. Looking to connect with Malongo. It's cleared away for a Chattanooga throw. The veterans will accelerate the maturing process for the younger players, and you need that if you're going to win a championship. Every championship team has had that. That is what he was saying, and I think that the proof is in the paper of every team that's won a championship, especially in USL League One. Lombardi. Back to Enriquez. Couple of nice tight exchanges. Malongo. Back to Lombardi. He plays it inside, and it's over the head of Kraft and out for a goal kick. So since Martin Vasquez had the chance to actually plan this preseason and be a part of it, I asked him, so how'd it go? Well, what are some of his thoughts? And he said, well, we had a couple challenges, and including travel, the bad weather. But he said after that friendly last weekend with Pachuca, we are ready to go. He said they prepared us. They have already had about 12 games under their belt, and they're a CONCACAF Champions League team. So that is a quality program going to Fresno to play Central Valley, the Liga MX side. He said after that game, can say it was a positive preseason. Cerritos does well there to handle some of the havoc. Ramos just gets a touch in, and I think he needed to, or else that was going to roll straight to Enriquez right in the gut. But it's carelessly given away. Malongo, that was Varela actually, jumping on that one. But crisis averted for Central Valley. And now Partida finds Cerritos. Puts it out wide. Now Casillas provides the service, and it's headed away by Nick Law. Dabo knocks that one out of play. You cannot give either of these teams a prime opportunity in a situation like that. This is too talented a Central Valley side. And Ziggy Korodowski said that we've got a lot of speed and athleticism on our side of things. He mentioned, I think we might have more of that than anybody else in the league, but we are by no means a finished product. We'll keep learning, we'll keep making adjustments and adapting, developing that chemistry as the season comes along. Long ball down for Lombardi. Good touch, bringing it down. As we're approaching halftime, got some halftime content coming your way. Once we hit the break, we'll recap some action from last weekend. Ball comes in, headed out. Brought down nicely by Walefi. Just tapping it over to Cardona. Bijev with some furious defending. Wins it back for Central Valley. He tried to chip that one forward. It'll fall to Diaz though. Foul out to Casillas. Diego Casillas takes a swipe there, but play goes on. Falk, the outside of his boot, finds Bijev. Into the 18 he goes, squares it across the middle. No one can make contact, and it looked like it nearly connected with Mikhail Williams. Here's a look at it again. Rodriguez Family Dentistry replay. Mikhail Williams, the center back, looked like the one closest to that ball. And the way he had his leg stuck out, that could have been dangerous for his keeper. Sounds like we're gonna get 3 minutes of stoppage time here once we hit that 45-minute mark. Ramos needs a ball to use for this corner kick. Now he's got one. And the visiting side find a goal off the set piece before halftime. Ramos, good looking ball. And the header from Fuego. It's knocked out of play. And it hit a Chattanooga player on the way out, so it'll be another corner kick for Central Valley.
The fourth official has indicated that there will be a minimum of 3 minutes of stoppage time in the first half.
I'm supposing it was Mikhail Williams who made contact with it, as that one's knotted away. The volley, low driver. Diaz with the service inside, and that header will pop over top and be off target. Some decent looks, but nothing to challenge the keeper. A header from Jordan Chavez. They could be sent running again here if Cardona doesn't do better with it. He knocks it away though nicely. Harris just has to get that one away. Cerritos. It's to Bijev. Now Partida. Back over to Bijev. Nice pass through. Fuego. Partida swings it inside, and it's headed away. Varela does well to get that one up the pitch, but Malongo couldn't bring it in. Minute and a half to go here in the first half of action. Diaz to Lemus, and he tried to drag it forward. The right back couldn't quite keep it at his feet. It was another good exchange. One more minute to go. Both these teams have done well to create good moments, good opportunities, but we sit at 0-0. Williams assess his options. Laborio back to Williams. Here's Enriquez taking the shot, it's saved. Off the half volley, tried to put it in the bottom left corner. Right off the cuff. It pops up. Look at that one. Pretty much on a line towards goal. So this will be a corner kick brought to you by our local Ford dealer, and it'll probably be the last bit of action here in the first half. Enriquez, I think, calling for the first save this entire evening. So here we go. Enriquez will be the one to bring it in. Looks good, headed upward. And that will earn the first half whistle from our head official. Couple good chances, good looks for both sides. But after 45 plus, it is 0-0 between Chattanooga and Central Valley Fuego in their season opener. Got some halftime content coming your way, so make sure that you don't turn off your screen or your phone wherever you may be tuning in. And with that, we're gonna step aside for our break on ESPN Plus. You're not gonna wanna miss that on the other side.
I need to try it first.
It's here, Ford Truck Month. Come and get the best deals on Ford F-150. The only truck to offer available Pro Power onboard and an interior work surface so you can get it all done. All part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 46 years straight and counting. Get 2.9 for 60 plus up to $2,500 with eligible trade-in. Learn more about pickup and delivery and remote service at your local Ford dealer. It's here, Ford Truck Month. Come and get the best deals on Ford F-150. The only truck to offer available Pro Power onboard and an interior work surface so you can get it all done. All part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 46 years straight and counting. Get 2.9 for 60 plus up to $2,500 with eligible trade-in. Learn more about pickup and delivery and remote service at your local Ford dealer.
Halftime brought to you by Star Community Builders. Their newest development, the Tennessee Gateway, features CHI Memorial Stadium, brand new townhomes, apartment living, and for-lease commercial office and retail. To learn more about Chattanooga's ultimate live, work, play community, contact info at star-cb.com. Star Community Builders, creating the visions of tomorrow today. Welcome to halftime here between Chattanooga and Central Valley. Why don't we do some recapping, shall we? Week 2 last weekend, we had 4 of them, and one of them was in a new home. Paladin Stadium, the new home place for the Greenville Triumph, but it was not a warm welcome. Carlton Belmar bending this beautiful strike just past the outreached arms of the keeper and giving Richmond the 1-0 advantage. But Greenville in the second half tried to come back. Look at this beautiful ball, this wonderful touch, and this finish is so close. Jacob Blavovitz trying to open up his account this season. He scored quite a few goals last season, and he nearly, just so nearly, had the equalizer in this game to make it 1-1. But Will Palmquist would get a clean sheet in goal, and would also, Richmond would get 3 points on the road against the Triumph. Pivoting to Tennessee, where at CHI Memorial Stadium, these two teams got their season started, and nearly a goal here for the visiting Hailstorm. Rendon and Breck Evans both combining on this corner kick, but Carlos Aviles, wonderful kick save, keeping it 0-0, protecting his team. Then his teammate Nicholas Cardona would let a shot fly here from way out from beyond the penalty box. Just look at that thing glide, but it gets punched away. Edward Delgado stepping in for Johan Peñaranda, serving his red card suspension. It would end up a 0-0 draw at CHI Memorial Stadium between the Hailstorm and the Red Wolves. And I think this may be one of the most anticipated matchups of the weekend, a rematch of the quarterfinal. Same venue and all, Charlotte Independence and the reigning champs Tormenta. And revenge was had to be certain. The Jacks opening up their scoring account, this one by Brad Dunwell. I believe that's the first of what will become many, many goals scored by Charlotte Independence this season. What a response, and what a response it was. Mukwele Akale, a Sports Center top 10 goal, and well deserving of it. But maybe something that could have ended up in the not so top 10 was this play here by Preston Kilwine. Already on a yellow card, kicks the ball away on the throw and gets his second yellow. Just careless, puts his team down a man in a 1-1 game. Just a crucial error on his part. And then from there, when you are playing down a man for so long, certain things leak through. Shalom Duty gives his team the advantage, and they would not lose it for the rest of this game. They would tack in another goal here, and why not look at it? Joel Johnson would have a beautiful assist here. Just look at how he pops this ball up. And Corey Bennett, don't mind if I do, just nod that one on goal, make it 3-1. Charlotte would not get blanked this time, and they would not get knocked out on the road at Optum Sports Medicine Field at Tormenta Stadium. Payback was delivered. Then we had a Sunday fixture. Another game where both teams were making their entrances this season. And how about 2 fascinating kits, too? Wonderful kits between Omaha and Madison. But something that isn't new is JP Skiers heading in goals. He is such a weapon on those set pieces. This has got to be the most exciting game of the weekend. So many great chances, a couple great goals. And if this doesn't look like your typical Werner Park, that's because it's at Caniglia Field. Noe Meza nearly making it a 2-0 advantage over top of the Mingos. Couldn't put it through. And then Madison would find a response in the second half. Derek Gebhard winds it around to a new Mingo, Christian Cheney. You might be familiar with his antics last season with the Fuego, and you also may be familiar with his goal celebration. Fantastic. 10 out of 10. The first of what could be a great season for Christian Cheney, and he nearly had a great finish right here near the end of the game. Christian Cheney, whoa! But Rashid Nuhu was up for the challenge, and it would be a 1-1 draw More content coming up your way after this break on ESPN+.
We all have goals. But let's be honest. Most of us aren't going to be professional athletes. But if your goal is to finish your degree, we can help. Come to a university that puts your goals first. Bellevue University, your partner in finishing goals.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang out, okay?
What's your name, sir? Where you are right now?
Couple of talking points here, as first off, Chattanooga last week were in a game where it went 0-0, and it wasn't for lack of trying. As you see here, most combined saves in a scoreless match in league history. Edward Delgado, Carlos Aviles, both stepping up to the plate, and maybe someone who could perform a game like that in the future. 16-year-old Luke Phillips showing that Academy to League One pipeline for Lexington and for USL in general. And then, of course, a big story coming up this next week, the Lamar Hunt U.S. Open Cup. What a tournament that is. Last year, USL League One did more than exceeding expectations. They blew expectations out of the water. So if you want to see these sides try and repeat what happened last year, I know that's a high bar to reach. Here are the matchups for all the teams across League One. This is so many that we have to split it up into 2 pages. Chattanooga will be playing Birmingham Legion on Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. They will be at home. Meanwhile, for Central Valley Fuego, they will also be at home, and they'll be hosting Monterey Bay FC. So 2 League One sides hosting championship teams. Not every League One team is playing host, though. Someone like Greenville Triumph are going all the way over to Arizona to play Phoenix Rising. You're going to want to check in on as many of these as possible. Maybe just keep social media open. If maybe an upset's brewing, you switch over to that game. It's going to be a great time, as one of these teams is going to get an upset. At least one, if not several. And here's our team of the week. Nil Vinyals getting the honor of Player of the Week. And, of course, Carlos Aviles, 8 saves in that 0-0 draw last Saturday. I think well-deserved in that regard. Only player from either of these teams, of course. This is Central Valley's first game, so they wouldn't have a player on the team of the week, no matter how hard they tried in preseason. Now let's take a look at the scores of the other games happening right now. 2 early goals in Cary to make it 1-1 between North Carolina FC and Lexington Sporting Club. Robert Cornwall getting a goal against the reigning champs Tormenta at halftime, and a weather delay is keeping the Jacks and the Kickers from wrapping up that last 8 minutes and change. Can the Jacks go on the road and get 3 points against Darren Sawatsky's side? let's take a look at what's coming up in USL League One. A lot of great games coming. A jam-packed Saturday coming, and a lot of these teams, if not all of them, also will be playing in the middle of the week in US Open Cup. So we might get some wackiness coming this next weekend in Week 4. Should be a lot of fun, and all of it, of course, will be on ESPN+. Second half of this game will also be on ESPN+. On the other side, we'll have highlights, stats, and then we'll get things going again here. We'll see you after the break.
I need to try it first.
The future is in these foothills. The world's fastest internet from EPB is in homes from Hickson to Highland Park. In classrooms from East Lake to East Brainerd. And in reach of those striving to learn more, be more, achieve more. The future is here with fiber optic speeds up to 25 gigs, only from EPB.
There's a beat in all of us. It drives us, it inspires us, and it pushes us through. It is there in preparation, it is there in battle, it is there in defeat, and in success. It's the engine, it's our guide. And this beat is my own. This beat is how I live. And this is how I hydrate. Body Armor Sport Water, hydration for athletes.
It's here, Ford Truck Month. Come and get the best deals on Ford F-150. The only truck to offer available Pro Power onboard and an interior work surface so you can get it all done. All part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 46 years straight and counting. Get 2.9 for 60 plus up to $2,500 with eligible trade-in. Learn more about pickup and delivery and remote service at your local Ford dealer.
I drink and drive all the time.
Sir, you've been in a serious crash. I need you to hang up, okay?
What's your name? So you name who you are right now?
As we welcome you back, let's wrap everything up here on halftime. Let's look at the highlights. Early on in this game, like I said, this is one of just 2 shots on goal in the game. But I wouldn't be to say that this wasn't a matchup with a lot of opportunities. Look here, Riley Kraft leaves this so nicely for Enriquez. This would be his last chance of the day. Spraying it wide there. Good positive moment, the first in the game for Chattanooga after having to withstand a lot of pressure from Central Valley early on. And then this, nearly a goal. Rael Malongo got it by the keeper, but couldn't get it between the sticks. But he was oh so close to doing so. And on the other side, Central Valley, a couple of chances, a couple of corner kicks late in the half, trying to break the deadlock before going into the dressing room. They couldn't make it happen. And then Chattanooga, they tried to make it happen. Christian Enriquez lets that one fly, parried away by Mitch North. Nice, just say it's a half volley. It actually took 2 bounces. But either way, from the air, he strikes it. And now, we're back for 45 more minutes of action. You saw a halftime most saves and a scoreless draw last weekend. We had a lot of big moments in the first half of this one. Will we find a goal here at CHI Memorial Stadium? Or is it gonna be another pair of goose eggs after the final whistle? I think both these teams look capable of scoring. It'll just be a matter of will they? As we welcome you back in here, my name is Mark Schoenster, excited to experience this alongside you. Just to give you some of the numbers from the first half. 6 shots apiece, 1 shot on target apiece. Possession was in favor of Chattanooga, 57.5%. And if you want to talk about expected goals, Chattanooga with .69 and Central Valley Fuego with .5. So pretty even all across the board. Chattanooga just holding the ball a tinge more. Now we'll see how these two sides do. Here in the second half, it was in the 70s when this game started, but we noted the wind. Now it's below 70, and that wind is still going. Could certainly be worse early in the season, though. There's a reason why in Northern Colorado, Hailstorm don't play a home game for, if I remember, the first 7 games of the season. Casillas with the exchange. Gets to Ramos. Bijev. Can't get it by Cardona. Here's our own Lombardi pushing it forward. That's one back by Central Valley. Bijev working it forward. Sends it over to the right-hand side for Casillas. Casillas slides it back in. And it's knocked away by Williams. Central Valley looking to recreate how the first half started by being all over the ball, being all up in that attacking third. Falk with a little tight give and go there with Bijev. Bijev plays it out wide. Casillas once again. He centers it with a cross, and that one's off the mark and bouncing out. That'll be a goal kick. Two very dangerous players on those outsides, Diego Casillas and Villian Bijev. There's some more pressing here from the likes of David Diaz and Alexis Cerritos. Maybe two guys potentially who have the potential to get subbed out, and so you want to make sure they use the rest of what's left in the tank. Of course, that's merely positing. Lamuse throwing it in, and after some clunky exchanges, it will be booted straight up into the air. Here's Ramos. Nice pass forward for Cerritos. Cerritos tries to shoot, and it deflects off of Niklaw. Here they come again. Bijev loses that one. And then a sliding challenge that will deflect it out for a Chattanooga throw. Ramos puts that one forward. Cerritos. Paco Craig leads Miami FC into Kentucky to face Josh Winder and the reigning Eastern Conference winners, Louisville City FC. Don't miss the start of the new season on the USL on ESPN Saturday, May 13th at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN2. Just a little over a month away from USL on ESPN. Kicking off its new season. Ramos takes it over halfway. Nice threaded pass forward. Bijev takes the shot himself, but he's going to be waved off. Thumped that one forward, but Ricardo Jerez was more than prepared for it, even though Bijev was ruled offside. When I spoke with Martin Vasquez, head coach of Central Valley Fuego, I asked him, who's a guy that played last year that he thinks really going to take a big jump in this second season? One guy I maybe had in mind was David Diaz. Saw some flashes from him last year as a young player. But he actually went a different route as Diaz gets a tap on it here. Casillas moving it forward. He finds Diaz. He pushes it up, hopefully. But Lombardi is the one who collects the ball. As I was saying, Martin Vasquez actually went a different route, and he said, actually, I think the players that everyone's familiar with are the ones that you're going to be surprised by, because guys came back with an unfinished business mentality. They want to fight for a championship. Players last year like Ofek Antman, Ozzy Ramos, Victor Falk, Jordan Chavez, Alexis Cerritos, he could go on. But he thought they all were primed to take another jump this season. Just coming in with a bit of a fire. And here's Cerritos going forward. Lead on Bijev. Bijev with the service inside. There's no one around. And it scuffles around. Punched away. They're still fighting for it. What a sequence of events. A cross ball that went into the middle, and there was nobody but Chattanooga center backs there. Suddenly turned into a very dangerous moment. Lombardi pops it back across goal. Cerritos sees the moment, tries to connect clean with the ball. He can't. And then Jerez comes in, doesn't cleanly clear the ball, which means there's still an opportunity to hack at it and force one into the back of the net. It does not happen. A murky sequence of events. At the end of it all, Ricardo Jerez will be the one happy. Just got back with the team. Ricardo Jerez was with the Guatemalan national team for CONCACAF Nations League. He started for the side last year in the June window. Did not get any appearances this go around. He's a former captain of the national team, and even though he didn't start and play, he'll be happy. His side were in the second tier, League B of the CONCACAF Nations League, and they are able to get promoted up to League A, so next year they'll be playing the best of the best in CONCACAF. Cardona plays it across the center, and Malongo just out of his reach. On the breakaway, Cardona, that's a nice ball, and Malongo was so close, and he barrels into Mitch North. He's just going for the ball there. Still a collision. Two substitutions getting ready for Chattanooga here after 10 minutes have transpired, and they might be getting a third ready as well. Lombardi plays it to Walefi. Walefi pops it over to that corner. Enriquez turns, taps it inside, gets it back. Enriquez shoots, and it glides wide. Now Christian Enriquez goes down. Still a lot of time left in this game. Enriquez has been the most dangerous player for Chattanooga on the shooting end. So he'll get checked on. Enriquez still recovering here. So we're going to get 3 substitutions, and I think a quick change has been made given the Enriquez injury. We've got Alex Tejera coming in for Mael Malongo. We've got Andrew Paoli coming in for Enriquez. And then Jackson Brady will sub in for Nicholas Cardona. Those are your 3 substitutions. Brady for Cardona, Tejera for Malongo, and Andrew Paoli in for Enriquez. And I'll see if those changes have some effects for Chattanooga here. This is Tejera's first appearance of the season for Chattanooga. Brady and Paoli both started in the first matchup. As we get our first yellow card here in the second half, and Brady, just moments after subbing into the game, going into the books.
This yellow card is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office. Designating a sober driver, especially on $2 beer night, is the winning play.
Let's look at the Rodriguez Family Dentistry replay. Yeah, I mean, he's not really playing the ball there at all. See what Central Valley can do here from the free kick. Bijev plays it in and headed away confidently by Williams. And now Kraft will dash down the pitch, but he's being closed in by Partida quickly. And Partida does well there. And they're gonna say that's a foul and a bit of a push from Felipe Laborio Jr. California not happy with that one. Lombardi trying to keep that one in play, doesn't quite do so. But he'll draw the foul here off of David Diaz. 30 more minutes to go, 2/3 of the way through. Mikhail Williams will take this one up and then tap it back. That's Paoli. Ball to the corner. Brady tries to track it down, but can't get there in time. Just too far ahead of him. Here's Kraft winning it back, but then a loose touch gives it to Central Valley. Thing that Siki Kortowski mentioned about his side in that game, as this one pops forward, looking to air it up to Kraft. Mitch North gets there instead. Trying an inventive moment there. Mitch North, 2 clean sheets last year when he got the chance to start for Central Valley. Collectively, we need to do our job. That's what Ziggy Korotowski said about his side. But we also need to be better in our individual assignments. Mentioned that they could have done better in one-on-one moments last week and maybe got bailed out a couple of times after players fell short in that regard. That was another one of their focuses this week in training. And I want to talk about one-on-one assignments. I think this Central Valley team, one of the best tests as far as individual moments. There's a lot of great talented players on this team. A lot of good technical ability. Cerritos, one of those players, takes it forward into the 18. Cerritos shoots it. Cerritos bangs that one in, and Central Valley Fuego have the lead. All it takes is a moment, and Cerritos rips that one home. The first goal of the season for Central Valley Fuego. And it's a good one. Here's a look at it again. Just breaks down the pitch, hikes the window he has, and zips it to that far side. Nothing can be done about that shot. That one maybe had some singes a little bit as I was going towards goal. Had 1 goal, 1 assist last season, so he's already reached his goal tally from last year from Bowie, Maryland. And now we'll see how that changes the form and shape of this game. How do both of these teams handle the new situation as it stands? Of course, you'll see more urgency from Chattanooga. How will Central Valley respond to that added intensity? Mikhail Williams is trying to thread it forward to Lombardi, but wasn't quite in proper timing with his left back. They're not at full force, but we brought a competitive group. And that's what Martin Vasquez said about his team's health and availability. He said you pick up injuries preseason, it happens, but we believe in the cast we're bringing with us. One big name missing from the starting lineup, and it's a name that Chattanooga Red Wolf fans are all too familiar with, Jose Carrera Garcia. I would say one of the biggest changes in roster this season in USL League One. A member of Central Valley Fuego. Lombardi plays it inside, and that one's hoofed away. I'm sure people were anticipating that homecoming game to start the season for Jose Carrera Garcia, but they'll have to wait a little longer for his first matchup against his former team. Lamoose will tap that one back to his keeper, Mitch North. Lombardi will take on Lamoose one-on-one. Lombardi sends the cross inside, and it's off the mark. And we got another Chattanooga substitution, and this one certainly spells setting aside some caution and substituting it in for some more firepower. Siobhan Marsh is going to come into the game for Walefi. You're down a goal. You've got to put more fireworks into the game. And let's see if Siobhan Marsh can provide that for Chattanooga. Kingston, Jamaica, came off the bench last week as well. He'll try to be that spark. And there he is, providing the pressure and forcing turnover of possession here. And here he is now. And Marsh getting tripped up. It'll be a Central Valley throw. Catch the next generation of stars at the USL Academy Cup. Action concludes Sunday, highlighted by the Under-19 Boys and Girls Elite Finals on the USL YouTube channel. For more information, visit usl-academy.com. Talked about at halftime how already seeing more and more of those Academy products making their way up to the professional ranks. Who knows? Watch those finals and you could see some of those players as soon as next year. And if not next year, just in years to come. Lombardi in the left channel. Loses it, but it's one back. Varela tried to spray it across, and it's headed away by Dabo. Look at that scrum to get the ball. Now they're playing keep away. All right, gotta bring that one back. That might need to be used again. Gotta have a little fun with it, though, of course. This will be a corner kick brought to you by your local Ford dealer, the official domestic car partner of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Riley Kraft, the chance to find a response for his side. Sends it in. And that one on the outside of the net. And it'll be a goal kick. Chattanooga fans, check out the new 2023 Chattanooga Red Wolves kit along with t-shirts, scarves, novelty items, and much more at ChattanoogaRedWolvesSC.com. That's ChattanoogaRedWolves-SC.com. And you can get that kit that Riley Kraft is donning on his person at this very moment. A lot of pressure here. Chattanooga nearly winning it back, and they will almost do it, but not quite. They got to force some sort of mistake. We've seen both sides give the ball away in a bad spot in their own half. And I think the Red Wolves are going to try and force that again. That's a dangerous challenge. You know, that's David Diaz. It is. That's going to be his second yellow. Oh, excuse me, that was only his first. I must not have been keeping track properly. That's a dangerous challenge either way. I mean, almost could argue should be a red card. The way he slid in from behind. That yellow card is brought to you by Tennessee Highway Safety. So he'll get the booking. His first yellow card of the season. There's Marsh. That ball pings around and then it falls to the body of a grounded Victor Falk. Now Casillas. Plays it back to Ramos. Now Ramos over to the goal store. Alexis Cerritos. Casillas plays in the middle for Diaz. Now Ramos over to Cerritos, Central Valley, holding the ball here and slowly moving it forward. Now Bijev connects with Lamous. Lamous sends this one inside, and it just skips past two separate players. Diaz and Casillas both trying to get on the end of that one. Here's a look at it again. That's a nice ball from Lamous. And Diaz, I think he was right there, just couldn't quite make connection with it. So Harold Hansen is not going to sub into the game for Diego Casillas. So that'll be his last little bit of action here. And then David Diaz, who was the other one who nearly had the connection there on that cross, will also come out. Andrew Forth will come into the game in his stead. These are two more defensive-minded players. Coming in to bunker down and see this one through for the visiting side. So Andrew Forth and Harold Hansen into the game. Hansen subbing in. Played for Ziggy Koratowski last season at Albion San Diego. And we also got some substitutions for the Red Wolves. Mo Espinoza coming into the game for Walter Varela. An explosive guy last season, Mo Espinoza. We'll see if those can be what make the difference to Hera. Can he keep this one in play? He cannot, so it'll be a goal kick. Chattanooga fans, Coca-Cola is the exclusive soft drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. Chavez pops this one up the pitch as I'm just receiving word. Over 2,500 people at CHI Memorial Stadium tonight. It's another great crowd. Watch the Red Wolves early on in this season. Trying to support their Red Wolves side. Bijev with the back heel, sets up Partita. His cross is knocked away off the back of Mo Espinoza. Espinoza trying to fight for it, and he gets it to clip off of Partita. As we see some of those 2,500 fans here looking to see if they can galvanize this home side to a leveling goal, their first goal of the season. Had some bright moments, but recently things, of course, look a bit darker after the Alexis Cerritos goal. Still got 15 minutes. That's a lot of time. Whistle blows. That one came across the touchline right in front of Ziggy Koratowski and his bench. And I believe that's Cerritos who went down to the ground, and our head official decided that he was not okay with the theatrics of the event. Williams gives it to Laborio. Still Laborio with it. Back to Lombardi. Lombardi to Williams. Can Chattanooga find something here? Can they unlock a moment? Williams leads on Kraft. Kraft can't keep that one in bounds. So it'll be a goal kick for Central Valley Fuego. Chattanooga fans, Body Armor is the official sports drink of the Chattanooga Red Wolves. I was talking to Ziggy Kortowski, of course, the new head honcho for Chattanooga. Paoli has it once again. That's the right-hand side. Espinoza to Paoli. Jackson Brady. Laborio Jr. puts that one inside, and it's headed upward. And Hansen will track this one down and hoof it straight into the air. And that, see if they call it a corner or a throw, and it looks to be a corner kick for Chattanooga. And this corner kick brought to you by your local Ford dealer. Riley Kraft is there for it. The wind is blowing. The fans are cheering. Chattanooga needing to find an equalizer. Kraft rockets that one in. And that's going to be Central Valley Fuego ball. I don't know if I just saw wrong, but it looked like a hand stretched out for that ball. No, it very much did. As Travis Nicklaw got bumped off, and maybe it was less of an intention to hit the ball and more so just losing his balance in the air. But either way, no danger to come of it. I was talking to Ziggy Kortowski, and I told him, you know, I was able to have the chance to talk to the two coaches for Lexington and Knoxville before their first games, and they are in the situation where they're new coaches, but they also have a bit of a blank canvas to work with for their team. They're building something from the ground up, whereas this Chattanooga team last year were in the USL League One final. Things get a little more chippy here. A couple of pushes and shoves, and now a yellow card for Jesus Partida, and maybe a yellow card coming for more than just one player. So the official has to make his way over to Tejera, and he'll get a yellow. So I believe it was Partida and Tejera who both got booked. Alejo Kumulume, our head official here. Espinoza brings in that ball, and that'll go over for another corner kick. But this Chattanooga team was just in the final last season. They've got a couple of USL League Two teams, an academy program. And I asked Ziggy Kortowski, how hard is it to juggle maintaining the standards and the culture that this Chattanooga franchise has already, and you with your vast experience coaching a lot of different places, bringing in your philosophies. And we'll get into what he said about that after this corner kick. But I thought it was a very interesting situation that he's found himself in as Espinoza drills it down. And it's cleared away by Central Valley Fuego. Jackson Brady will collect it though, and will look to push this forward once again for the Red Wolves. Cerritos gets dragged down. That's a professional foul. And a warranted yellow card for Espinoza. Espinoza, a part of that success with Chattanooga last season. One of the key contributors in the goal scoring category. 8 goals, 7 assists last year. Here's a look at that foul again. Ends up tackling him. When it came to the idea of sort of meshing cultures together, Ziggy Kortowski said that the standard here at Chattanooga when I came is a championship. They want to build a dynasty like Manchester City used to be, or not, like Manchester United used to be, like Manchester City is now, or like the New England Patriots in the NFL. And he said, I feel blessed that the front office here felt that I was the guy for the job to get Chattanooga there. He mentioned Bob Martino, Mitch Martino, Sean McDaniel have built an incredible platform, and they want me to not only uphold it, but lift that product. And when I asked him if it's challenging to balance his philosophies versus what's already been established here, and he said, yeah, it's challenging, but I also want it to be. I want these people to care, and that's important to ultimately finding success. As this one bounces forward for Marsh, nearly fell onto his plate. And now Central Valley could break. Victor Falk gives chase. And it'll end up falling into the hands of Ricardo Jerez. And Cerritos giving a push there on Espinosa. Under 10 minutes to go. The difference, a goal scored by that man, who's now getting a yellow card, Alexis Cerritos. His father, Ronald, former MLS player for the San Jose Earthquakes and is in the Earthquakes Hall of Fame. Runs in the family. There's a little push from the back, and that one sends Espinosa to the ground. And his rocketing goal is the difference in this one. Laborio sends the service inside, but it's too far ahead. Mitch North is able to clean it. This long ball goes down the pitch, and Lombardi has to handle the pressure himself, and he draws the foul off of Hansen. So we're going to get another substitution here, someone who was just added this week to Central Valley's roster, and he could end up being such a huge piece to this side. Otanio Jaramillo, a veteran striker, and he'll come in for the goal scorer, Alexis Cerritos. Jaramillo, I was talking to Coach Vasquez about him earlier this week, and he said that he brings a lot of experience and a lot of goals. And he's a player that just scores. That was one of the things I asked him, and they've got so many great attacking presences, including veteran players like Billy and Bijev. What does this guy bring to the plate? And Martin Vasquez emphasized that he specializes in just putting them into the back of the net, getting them finished. And he said it himself, we have many guys who are wonderful and dangerous in the build-up, and he's another weapon, but he'll bag goals. That is what he is good at. But the issue is now is he's got to make that transition. It's a tough league. You can't just plug and play someone who's been good in other places. Of course, a long-time vet in Liga MX. Of course, today you won't have the pressure of scoring a goal, but mainly just helping his team cross the finish line with the same score line as it stands. There he is, standing at a 6'3". I'm sure that stature has helped him in his time, scoring some goals across his career. Bailey plays it forward, trying to connect with Kraft. Hansen blasts this one down the field. And that does its job. Bouncing, chewing off more clock. Mikhail Williams will bring it forward. Laborio to Kraft. Draw some contact, but stays upright. Now he plays it to the right-hand side. Jackson Brady's cross attempt deflected by Bijev, and then it's headed right back to him. There's a touch there from Jaramillo. Here he is again with Hansen. He plays it forward for Hansen, another one of the substitutes. Hansen to Jaramillo. And Liborio is able to win it back for Chattanooga, but he has to escape some pressure. But time is ticking for the home side. Chavez clears it away. We are going to get a whistle.
Check out local food trucks in the concessions area, brought to you today by our local sponsor, Food Truck Alley.
And we got another substitution taking place here.
And also, this is a reminder to head over to the Howl Bar at
William Bijev is out, and Zahir Vasquez comes in. So worth mentioning, I said earlier that maybe a bit of an injured side, Central Valley. They only had 5 substitution options today. And now all of them have been used. Of course, technically Mitch North was listed on the bench before the game started, ended up starting from the get-go. So I guess you could say just 4 options on the bench once the whistle blew to start this game. And all 4 of them are being utilized. Zahir Vasquez, the 23-year-old coming in for Bijev. Another Red Wolves connection with Zahir Vasquez. Last year played for the Park City Red Wolves. There's a lot of ties between these two teams. Of course, you've got also just the geographic location of a lot of these players. Many of the Chattanooga side coming over from the West Coast, which is where, of course, Central Valley Fuego are stationed. Oh, that hopeful punted ball upward will go out for a goal kick, and I'm hearing 4 minutes of stoppage time here. 4 minutes for Chattanooga to find an equalizer, 4 minutes for Central Valley to hang on. A goal in the 63rd minute from Alexis Cerritos is where this one stands.
The 4th official has indicated that there will be a minimum of 4 minutes of stoppage time.
Let's look at it again, the foul from Falk. Free kick from Kraft. Bounces in and is headed out. That one coming off the hand of Jackson Brady. Precious time. Gonna get whittled away due to this. Jackson Brady coming from Christchurch, New Zealand. North, mentioned earlier, 2 clean sheets last year, looking for his first in 2023. After having to slip in at the last second for Central Valley. side. It's Jackson Brady back to Nick Claw. Now Lombardi. 2 of the minutes have transpired. Lombardi tried to knock it out wide for Riley Kraft. Now Falk taking this one up the touchline. And I think he did well there to draw the throw in, and he did. He may have drawn the foul as well. Even better than the throw-in. And very much so, a deserving free kick. Hansen making his way to the corner. Now a roll across the center. Jaramillo. And he does well to stall. And now we're going to get a free kick for Chattanooga. And a yellow card being given to Andrew Forth. And that might be a yellow card for Harold Hansen. Well, I'm not going to say it is, but looked like he was awfully close to calling it for time wasting. That yellow card brought to you by Tennessee Highway Safety. Paoli swings this one inside. It's headed upward. Still in danger, knotted down. Lombardi with a couple of touches. Time is winding down here. Chattanooga looking for one last chance to find a leveling goal. We have hit 94 minutes. Espinoza plays it inside, headed away. Paoli pops it back upwards. Headed up again and into the hands of Mitch North. And the whistle will blow. Central Valley Fuego go on the road and get all 3 points against the Chattanooga Red Wolves. 1 game, 3 points for the roadside. And they can feel happy about how their team was able to come across the country and get a result despite missing some pieces, despite being shorthanded on the bench. And both sides now will quickly turn around and think about their Wednesday matches in the U.S. Open Cup. Some management is going to need to be had in that regard. Meanwhile, here is our man of the match presented by Timbercraft Whiskey. It'll be Christian Enriquez. When he subbed out of the game, and he didn't get subbed out tactically, it was because he picked up a bit of a knock. There was just a little bit less spark offensively. Not that guy who could take the finishing touch, take a shot. His shot at the end of the first half proving to be the most dangerous one that Chattanooga would have in the game, and he had a couple other ripping efforts that just went wide off the mark. Now, well, take the chance to look at our save of the game brought to you by Chattanooga Hotel. And we're gonna see it right here. This was just a scurrying moment, but in the midst of all of that, Ricardo Jerez was able to maybe swat the ball away once or twice, and then was able to draw the foul and the free kick. But ultimately, it'll be Alexis Cerritos who will feel like the hero, scoring the goal in the 63rd minute. We've got post-game coverage coming your way on the other side of this break on ESPN+. We'll wrap it up then.
The future is in these foothills. The world's fastest internet from EPB is in homes from Hickson to Highland Park. In classrooms from East Lake to East Brainerd. And in reach of those striving to learn more, be more, achieve more. The future is here with fiber optic speeds up to 25 gigs, only from EPB.
try it first.
It's here, Ford Truck Month. Come and get the best deals on Ford F-150. The only truck to offer available Pro Power onboard and an interior work surface so you can get it all done. All part of Ford F-Series, America's best-selling truck 46 years straight and counting. Get 2.9 for 60 plus up to $2,500 with eligible trade-in. Learn more about pickup and delivery and remote service at your local Ford dealer.
Post-game presented by Smart Bank. Experience Smart Bank. Your final score, Central Valley Fuego 1, Chattanooga Red Wolves 0. And there's the goal scorer, Alexis Cerritos, getting the job done. Ripping one home to give his side 3 points on the road to start off their season. And here are the full-time highlights brought to you by CHI Memorial. This is the first big chance of the day. Mael Malongo gets the shot past the goalie, which you think is the most important part. But it goes off the woodwork and out. Oh, so close for the home side. Still without a goal this season. And this was the other prime chance. Christian Enriquez off the pop, lets it fly. But Mitch North was able to get both his hands on it and deflect it away. And then in the second half, things started cooking for Central Valley Fuego. Right here, they nearly had a goal. Cerritos nearly got his at this moment, but Ricardo Jerez does well to manage the chaos. Really almost a self-inflicted wound from Chattanooga here. Just some miscommunication, some careless work from the center backs. And then in the 63rd minute, though, Alexis Cerritos gets the ball, and the rest he takes himself into the 18, and then wham. This deadly precision and unforgiving speed from Alexis Cerritos is able to put that one home and give his team the 1-0 lead and the game-winning goal at the end of things. As we look at the full-time stats brought to you by Smart Bank, here are your stats. Ultimately, it's a pretty even game for both sides. It was just a matter of who took advantage of their opportunity, and Central Valley Fuego did that. Chattanooga were unable to do so. Now both sides will play on Wednesday in the Open Cup and then play next Saturday in USL League One. So it is a busy, busy week for both these sides. Luckily for both of them, these next two games are both at home for their respective sides. So that is where it leaves off, and that's where we will leave you on this broadcast. I hope you enjoy the last 90 minutes of soccer between the Red Wolves and Central Valley Fuego. But for our broadcasting crew, my name is Mark Schoen, so we appreciate you tuning in. We hope you have a wonderful night or a wonderful evening if you're tuning in from the West Coast supporting your Fuego. They were the ones who came out on top and got all 3 points. But busy week coming up ahead. You can see it all on ESPN+. You guys all have a good one, and we'll see you soon.
This copyrighted telecast of the United Soccer League League One cannot be retransmitted, rebroadcast, or reproduced without the expressed written consent of the United Soccer League League One.